The campus of Christ Cathedral is a place of inspiration and hope. It's also home to a ministry that offers just that to those who have none. The New Hope Crisis Center, aptly located in the Tower of Hope, has operated non-stop since 1968. OC Catholic TV talked with its director, Dr. Louise Dunn, about the mission.
Crisis Center started when a member of the congregation of the Garden Grove Community Church had been talking to Mrs. Schuler, Dr. Schuler's wife, and she had been doing pastoral counseling with her. She was trying to get a hold of Mrs. Schuler one day, the days before cell phones, the days before answer machines. She left a suicide note saying that she couldn't find anybody to talk to, and she took her own life. Mrs. Schuler was devastated by this, and she basically planted the seed with Dr. Schuler. There should be somewhere any time of the day or night somebody should be able to call and have somebody to talk to. So in 1968, the Tower of Hope was completed, and that provided the space for the hotline to be started. Well, New Hope is a crisis counseling hotline. And what that means is that we are set up to be able to answer suicide calls, although really less than 1% of our calls are people that are suicidal. Hotline covers any type of crisis. People define crisis differently. So for one person, a crisis could be that their son is seeing a girl they don't like. For somebody else, a crisis might be that they've been overlocked out of their house and they're in their car and they don't know where they're going to sleep. So it really runs quite a gamut. Our counselors are drawn from all walks of life. They don't have to have a psychological training background, be social workers. They're volunteers. They're considered to be peer counselors. We focus on grief counseling, crisis intervention, suicide prevention. They also have a class on prayer because as a faith-based hotline, we offer prayer on every call. And surprisingly, a lot of people have not prayed out loud with other people, especially people they don't know. So that's a part of the training to get them comfortable with that. There is a personality type that makes a good counselor. A person has to have a combination of a very tender heart, patience, and they have to have a certain amount of resilience, because if they don't have that, they can get overwhelmed by carrying the issues of others in their hearts. Well, New Hope always needs more volunteers. We always need more people to fill the shifts. It's very hard to fill a 24/7 schedule. So someone who's interested in volunteering with New Hope just needs to contact New Hope. You can either call through the hotline, the 714 New Hope number, or call over to Christ Cathedral Campus, and I'll put you in touch with me. And I'm always happy to talk with anybody that's interested in coming on board. Well, 1% of our calls actively thinking of suicide and suicidal don't sound like a lot, but when you consider about 40 to 60 calls a day over a 47-year period, that actually turns out to be quite a few calls. We mostly measure our success by what happens in the time of that call. We can get the person to make what we call a contract for living, and that is that they won't harm themselves today, that they agree to contact someone or take an action step, such as seeing a therapist or something like that. In those calls, we may not need outside intervention. We do know success stories, though, where people have called us back and actually thanked us for the intervention. Friends or family have called back and said, you saved my son's life. And again, we don't get a lot of those calls, but it does tell us that what we're doing is effective. Doing a suicide intervention and knowing it's successful is probably the greatest feeling in the world. To know that you really have been used. The way we feel is we've been used by God to help save a life.